Hey Run Junkies, if you were anywhere near Walt Disney World earlier this month, you know that Run Disney was forced to cancel the half marathon on Saturday due to lightning in the area. I'm going to talk about that race specifically and how it affected me personally in Saturday's video, but today I want to talk about what happens and how we can respond when races get canceled, altered, or delayed. While Walt Disney World's half marathon is a recent and fresh example, it is not the first time, the last time, or the only time that a race organizer will have to make a hard call like this. To give you some perspective and some recent examples, 2012 New York City Marathon. Hurricane Sandy had just come through, and while the race itself wasn't affected, first responders were needed for recovery efforts. Water and power was still out, so the race organizers canceled the event so first responders could deal with the community at large. 2014's Ironman Lake Tahoe. There were athletes in the water with adrenaline pumping right before the first cannon went off. Ironman had to cancel the race. There was a forest fire in the area and air quality was horrible. Conditions were so bad that Ironman did have to cancel the race. There are many other examples of altered races or delayed races. Probably the most prominent being the Run Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon a couple of years ago. The later part of the race was canceled, so the whole race was shortened to about 6.5 miles due to, again, lightning in the area. So let's keep this all in perspective. First of all, race organizers have one priority above all others, and that is the safety of the participants, the volunteers, and the staff. They have to consider everyone directly involved with the race itself and the community at large. It's not just the athletes. Therefore, our safety is their first priority. Everything else comes second. We all sign a waiver and a release of liability stating that we understand that a race organizer may have to cancel, delay, or alter a race. So I like to think of it like this. The race organizer is a parent and the athletes are the kids. We as athletes will shake our fists and stomp our feet and throw a complete temper tantrum because we want to race. The race organization knows what's best for you and the community at large and will make a decision that we may not like. Just because we as the athletes put in a lot of time and effort into our training does not give anyone else the right to compromise our safety. Remember, it's not just the runners out there. It's the volunteers, the staff, the first responders, the fans are all out there supporting this race. We need to keep them in mind as well. We may not like the decision to cancel a race, but we do have to live with it, and so do the race organizers. It is a hard call for them to make. There is a lot that goes into creating an event of this magnitude. I'm not just talking about Run Disney, I'm talking about Ironman or rock and roll. There's a lot of work that goes into creating that race experience, and when they have to cancel, it's a hard call for them to make too. For races this big, we sometimes sign up for these events months in advance, and in many cases these are once in a lifetime bucket list events, something to check off a list and move on. So we may not have a second chance at an event like this. We will focus so much on every single detail of training that we forget sometimes that there's one thing we can't control on race day, and that's the weather. By the way, neither can the race organizers. Because we invest so much time, energy, and effort into an event, feelings of loss and anger and disappointment and frustration are all normal. We also ask our families to support us and cope with all of the weird training stuff that goes on. And then when a race gets canceled, it's hard not to feel like, well, that was all for nothing. We exert so much more control as the distance increases. We look at how much sleep we're getting. We look at the nutrition and hydration, the quality and quantity of our training. We may have this false sense of security that we have control over everything involving our training and the race itself, that we forget that we don't have control over the weather. I'm working on that. I have minions. Also, when we sign that waiver and release of liability, we are signing over our race day safety to the race organizer at the expense of our pride. By the way, for those of you who are critical of Run Disney's cancellation, please check the link in the description box below. It links you straight to Run Disney's frequently asked questions page. One of them is, will the race get canceled? The answer's been sitting there right in front of us the whole time. happen. So in the event of a race day alteration, delay, or cancellation, I would like to encourage you to do at least one of these three things, if not all three. First, look at the journey that got you here. Most of us don't show up to the start line of an event like this without a little blood, sweat, and tears. The journey to get here is long enough. We are all refined by the fire of training and not really so much the race itself. We are made stronger, faster, and smarter. So let's appreciate that. Second, allow the race organizers to do their job and recognize the tough decisions that they sometimes have to make. Our safety is more important to them than our pride, so please allow them to take care of you in the best way that they know how. And please keep from lashing out at them. Lastly, and I think most importantly, look forward. You have put in so much training that you are primed for your next event. Set your next goal. Set your next 3 goals. Don't sit back and feel sorry for yourself because one race was canceled. There are a lot of other races out there. Don't let a canceled race keep you from finding your awesome. For the races I've mentioned here, I absolutely agree with the decisions that were made, and I side with the race organizers when they have to make that tough call. So what do you think of all of this? I would like to hear your comments in the box below of what your response is to a delayed or canceled event. Also, please subscribe because on Saturday, I'm going to tell you about how I responded to Run Disney's half marathon cancellation. Thank you so much for watching. Get out there, go find your awesome. We'll see you next time, and until then, happy running.